Oh man, you think about heart sinking, almost your pants. When you got a $30,000 drone telling you that it's lost up in the sky, oh All right, here's how I almost lost a $30,000 drone with one stupid mistake. All right, so what we were doing, we had an area about a quarter of a mile by a quarter of a mile square with buildings in it that are eventually going to be torn down, and we need to document them first. So I was trying to manually fly the drone around the building sideways and get a video instead of flying along the edge of it and then turning along the edge. I was trying to go sideways down the whole length of the building and then turn and come back and go sideways down the end and turn and go. Now, you can automate that with waypoints, but we were trying to do that manually. And I was watching the compass with flying the Skydio X10D. It's 30 grand. And I'm watching the compass for what direction that I'm facing. But since I'm flying sideways, that's not the direction I'm going. And I think I got turned around where I had the direction of the drone was correct, but instead of flying right, I flew left or vice versa. And at one point, the visual observer said, "Hey, I don't see it. I don't see the drone." At that point, I should have hit return to home, but I thought I knew what I was doing, and I could still see buildings, but there's a lot of buildings, and I was going the wrong direction, going away from us. When I lost contact, the screen just kind of froze, and I hit return to home. Now, the pilot in charge that was, that's kind of mentoring me, he told me that if the controller loses contact and you don't make any input for 10 seconds, it'll just land automatically. Now, I think that's not correct. I think if the drone and the controller have connectivity and you stop giving it input, it will land thinking maybe something happened to you and you're not available to fly. But when you lose connectivity, it should just return to home. Well, I hit return to home. If anybody has any input on that, it's the Skydio X10D. If you have any input on that, leave it in the comments. Anyway, I hit return to home, and then you just talk about that heart sinking. You're waiting. Anyway, we waited for it to return home. So when that all took place, I had plenty of batteries. So when I hit return to home, the drone had enough battery to come back home, and it landed successfully without any issues. And we have the drone set up. I think it's at 21%. So on low battery at 21%, it returns to home automatically and starts descending and all that stuff. So that's just for safety. We're not actually flying it very far in the first place. So the first takeaway from that, when you have a visual observer and he tells you he doesn't see the drone anymore, you need to react to that. You need to hit return to home, or maybe look in the sky and see if you can find it yourself real quick, and if not, return to home. But I was confident that I knew what I was doing, but I was going the wrong direction, getting farther away. Now, what concerns me is why that $30,000 drone is just a little bit bigger than my Mavic 2. Looks the same. It folds up identically. Mechanically, physically in your hand, it flies exactly the same as a DJI drone. The controller's a little bigger, has a built-in screen. I use my older drones don't have a built-in screen. I use a Crystal Sky screen. Anyway, that is a built-in screen. You need to respond to the visual observer pretty quick if you can't overcome from what input that he's telling you. I can't see the drone, or hey, you're about to hit that telephone pole. Whatever it is, you need to listen to the visual observer. That's why they're there. All right, so to round that up, number one, get comfortable with what's on the screen and the directions you're flying. We should have been using waypoints and doing this with waypoints, but we were wanting to do it manually just for a few different reasons. When I'm looking at the compass and my drone's, heading 270 degrees, but I want to fly left or right of that, you need to get all that. Sometimes it helps to write that down and just draw a circle on a paper and put the degrees on there, and then just look at if the drone is facing 270 and you want the drone to continue to go left or right or north or south or whatever, just have a visual of that in your head. So it helped me, particularly when I was studying for the Part 107 test, it helped me to just draw that radius on a piece of paper and put the, it's just like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, but it's 360 or 0, 90, 180, and 270. Write that down. take a look at. So then you have those numbers kind of in your head, and if you know which direction you're traveling, it'll help that a little bit. And then listen to the visual observer. That's why they're there to keep you out of trouble, keep you safe, keep the drone safe, keep people around you safe. Follow the plan that you have. On this channel, I created a quick visual observer training video because at work guy was downloading different ones, and one was from Canada and it had some regulations that were incorrect. So at an amateur level, I just went into between OBS and DaVinci. I created a quick training video that you can see that VO training video on this channel. Maybe I'll put it in the description here at the end. But anyway, to wrap it up, that was really scary. You get that sinky feeling when you don't know what's going on. You press return to home and wait. It all worked out fine this time, but it may not the next time. So get in the habit of following your procedures. If you have procedures in place and you follow them, that will prevent any accidents or mistakes in the future or at that time. Just follow the stuff you set up and don't let your ego get in the way. That's what happened to me. I know what I'm doing. Even though he said he lost it, I should have hit return to home right there. Anyway, thank you. Like, subscribe, look at some other videos. Look forward to more in the future. Thank you for watching if you got this far.